How big did your eyes get, or are there too many variables with the weather and the tires and everything to really get too excited?
No, I was definitely excited. Whenever the schedule came out and I saw that Loudon was getting a playoff race, it made me very optimistic about it. Obviously, this is a great track for me, and you need to start out the rounds with a positive race, and certainly this is a place that we should lead laps and should contend for the win. And if you're putting yourselves in that position where you are leading laps and you are contending for the win, even if you don't win, you get enough points, which is a different mentality than in the round of 8. The round of 8 you really need to win, but the round of 12, getting through here with a lot of points is, that's the goal.
We'll come right here. And then we'll go to Dustin, then Holly.
Johnny Anchors, WSMN Radio. How are you today?
Doing good.
Best
How are
of
you?
luck. What's the temperature like in the clubhouse with Briscoe, Hamlin, and yourself and Ty? I know you have to balance competitiveness and camaraderie as a team.
Yeah, I mean, certainly we're feeling good. Joe Gibbs Racing is asserted themselves as the powerhouse team in the sport right now. So we're loving life, absolutely. We know we're in a good spot, and we're just trying to keep the ball rolling. It's a week by week basis, and the schedule certainly lays out really well for the Toyotas to run well for a little bit here, and hopefully we can do that. But certainly we're all super happy and thrilled with how it's going.
Go in the back to Dustin.
Dustin, being on JC, I know you got to take it week by week, but what is the biggest challenge to the round of 12?
The biggest challenge to the round of 12? I think you look at the racetracks on paper, and they say that we should be really good at all of these tracks, and we should be able to have good performance. The toughest thing is just going to be just going out there and doing it, and not eliminating yourself. And I think that all of us, myself, Denny, Chase, we're all, even Bubba and Tyler, like all of the Toyotas, they're going to have speed. We're going to be capable. So just got to dot your I's and cross your T's and do your job. So I think if it's up to car performance, we'll probably be fine. But the execution side and finishing the races out, making sure that you make the right decisions on restarts, the right strategy calls, not making mistakes on long green flag runs, stuff like that is going to be the difference maker in the round of 12.
Go to Holly.
Hi, Christopher. Holly Keene with the NASCAR Wire Service. My question was kind of along their lines, but are you at all surprised that Toyota is not just winning, but really kind of dominating statistically the way the playoffs have started, and the fact that it's been all three of you, three different winners? It hasn't just been one guy has gone out and done it. Could you just talk about what kind of confidence that gives you?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty impressive. I don't think any of us expected the round of 16 to start the way that it did, but yeah, I mean, it's just a credit to the Joe Gibbs Racing folks and Toyota Racing Development, and it's not an overnight thing. It's a lot of effort put in by a lot of different people that have gave us the performance that we have, and then once you have that performance, it comes down to the teams executing the races and doing the right things. So the 19 team with Chase and James, they did incredible. They probably that Darlington performance was one of the best performances we've seen in a long time. To qualify on the pole, the Southern 500, and lead and just dominate the race like that. That was absolutely phenomenal. And then Denny, I don't think he had like the best car at St. Louis, but him and Gale did a great job playing the strategy right, and were there whenever it mattered the most. So. Yeah, it's just I don't think that any of us pictured it going the way that it had, but it's we know that we're in a good spot.
We'll come here in the middle to Dustin.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. Christopher, what's the hardest part of the playoffs for you?
Surviving Talladega. That's been the hardest part every year. I don't know if it's fortunately or unfortunately. Now it's moved a little bit later on in the schedule, so fortunately I don't have to deal with it now. Unfortunately and hopefully I have to deal with it later. But Yeah, Talladega has always been the toughest one. Last year we had Atlanta in there, so certainly this year the additions of Gateway and Loudon into the playoffs were something that I was super excited about. And yeah, Talladega's been the one that's always the fearful one for me. And I don't know if it's good or bad that it's later on in the year this year.
And one thing I think is kind of interesting in looking at your playoffs through the years is just the highs and lows. I mean, there's been quite extremes over the years, and I'm curious, even we saw here the last couple weeks, how have you learned to handle that, or how has these playoffs, or the fire that you've had to go through and succeeding and the falls and rises, how has that helped you and shaped you and molded you and prepared you for this year or beyond?
You always go with the deep questions, don't you? Oh, man, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's hardened my heart a little bit. Yeah, I mean, certainly, I don't know. Certainly Martinsville 2024 was the bottom of how I've ever felt in my professional career. And yeah, Martinsville 2022 was probably the highest I've ever felt in my professional career. So, I don't know. I guess it just kind of mellows you out a little bit, and you understand that no matter what happens, come February, we're all going to be chasing that cup back there again. So, yeah, I'm just, I don't know. I guess the more that you do it, the more experience you have with it, it becomes more natural, it becomes more normal, and you know what to expect. So hopefully I have the ends covered from, the win in advancement in 2022, and then the being in and not advancing in 2024. So yeah, I think all of it's probably filling in the middle there on the emotional spectrum.
I mean, it seems like that's a hard spectrum there. I mean, like I said, just see your feelings after Gateway, then to win the following week, and now to be viewed as, hey, you're the favorite, you can, potentially this is your round to waltz through. That's a lot to go through in the last few weeks. And like I said, even what you've gone through over the last few years in these playoffs, it seems like it's really run you through the ringer.
Yeah, I mean, it has for sure. I don't know. I mean, I love where we're at, and obviously I'm glad that we're on a positive, but you never know what the next week brings. And I don't know. I feel like maybe Adam does a little bit better job of managing the highs and lows than I do, but yeah, it's I don't know. You always ask the deep questions. That's a good one. You stumped me a little bit, but I certainly have the highs and lows covered throughout my career so far.
Thank you.
We'll go to Kelly.
I'm just curious, given everything that you've talked about in the past week about this race team, what you guys are and aren't doing, can the current form of this race team, Christopher, can you guys win the championship? And if you feel like you can't, what's the biggest thing that you need to see or needs to happen before you guys hypothetically potentially were to make Phoenix?
So actually, I can answer this one pretty clearly. What we have to do better is we've got to start qualifying better. That is mission critical. Oh my goodness, it's all of us are just we're frustrated a little bit of how we've been qualifying, especially compared to our team cars. And I say that because the team cars are the barometer, and if your team cars are qualifying well, then you should be qualifying well as too. And through the summer months, I mean, we couldn't even put it in the top 10. And then we've made gains on our qualifying performance, and now it seems like we can consistently put it in the top 10, but our teammates are consistently putting it on the front row. And whenever you get deeper into the playoffs, you have to be scoring stage points, and a lot of the stage points are dictated by your qualifying effort. And so yeah, that's mission critical. We've got to start qualifying better, and along the lines of qualifying better, that's how you lead laps. So I think a lot of it stems from the qualifying, and that's probably the biggest performance gain that we need to go out there and be one of the top contenders. I feel like our race performance has been on par with most of our competitors. It's just we're starting from a hole after Saturday.
Are there any final questions for Christopher? All right, Christopher, thank.
What are you not able to do in qualifying to be able to get the result at this point? What are you searching for then in that terms, whether it's today or the following week?
Yeah, well, there definitely has been a consistent theme through our qualifying sessions the last handful of races and probably months. It just comes down to car balance, and we have the capability, and the teammates are showing that we have the capability if we get it right, and we just have been off a little bit, and it doesn't take much to be a couple positions back. So our teammates have just been hitting it and getting the good qualifying results, and we're missing a little bit. Some of it's been on the balance side. And some of it's been on the driving side as well. So all of us, myself, Adam, the engineers, we all have to just buckle down and improve that if we want to go deeper here.
Steven Stump of FrontStretch.com here. Come back for more great racing videos, and if you like us, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.